trending topic that I've seen recently, which I just think is fucking incredible, hilarious in some ways, just fucking perfect. It's hashtag delete Facebook. I mean, where do we even begin with that? If you're like 25 or older and you never at least suspended your Facebook, oh man, then you don't even know what life feels like. Like suspending, like I'm calling it suspending, but I've never permanently deleted my shit, but I've deleted it before. I did that shit for like 2 days or something. This was like years ago. Like this was like when I first discovered you could do it. I think I just did it to test it out. Yeah, man, that shit is exhilarating. So if you've never just tried to like just kill that shit, the whack thing about it is you kill it, but then as soon as you sign back in, it like comes back to life like you never left and shit. It's not like, it's so like fucking like underwhelming. It's like the most disappointing shit when you like click all this shit to get rid of it. You feel good, you're not getting notifications from that motherfucker, and then you sign in and it's like, oh, just like welcome back, like everything's there, everything's the same. Your feed is just like it's I don't know what I would expect, but it would feel a little iller if I came back to Facebook and your feed was blank. It was like a ghost town. It was like you're starting from scratch. You had to upload pictures again. Nah, you just come back to the game and it's like they just left your shit there, like left it there for you. You just came back to the field. You just put the jersey back on and it's like, wait, like nigga, it's still halftime. Like the fuck? So that shit is weird. But yeah, deleting Facebook is a thing. You can delete it. My wife deleted Facebook, but then she was forced to get back on. I don't remember why. Probably family shit. There's people, you have to talk to people, like family members, especially old niggas, yo. Old niggas get pissed off, son. Anybody who's like, this is not even old. This is not rude for me to say that. I should stop using words like old, because like motherfuckers just be mad offended. People older than me, they get offended by that shit. I'm old, nigga. I'm wise. Fuck it. That's the whole thing, fam. If you over 25, you old, dog. Like, that shit. Like 25 and younger, that's young. Like, who gives a fuck? If you over 25, you old. It's cool. I'd rather be old, nigga. I'd rather be old than some young dumbass nigga. I'd rather be old than fucking young and just shitting myself. It's okay, man. But shouts out to my young niggas though, man. Like, you youthful, you beautiful, man. I'm jealous. I'd rather be fucking young, man. No, I'm kidding. Yo, but listen, man. Here's the point of what I'm really trying to say. If you like over 40, you definitely love Facebook. Even though these niggas over 40 are migrating to Instagram so hard. Like, that's why I don't even be posting on Instagram no more. I just, like, I can't do it because Instagram is now feeling like what Facebook felt like 10 fucking years ago. So that shit is fucking me up now. Anyway, everybody who's 40 now is mobbing hard on Facebook. They run Facebook. Like, the Gen, what's them niggas' name? That Gen X? Yeah. Gen Xers and fucking baby boomers, them niggas is running Facebook feed, son. Them niggas is killing that shit. We don't have a chance. Like, I used to love that shit, and I never loved Facebook. Let me bring that back. There was a time when the whole weird Facebook vibe was going on, like when Vaporwave just was popping off and shit, and like net art was like transitioning into like what it became today. Facebook was insane, y'all. Like, I could spend all day on that shit. The art that was dropping was crazy. It was just sick shit, man. And like even the different pages that would pop up would be fire shit. So I was fucking with it, man. I'm cool with that. But then it just like totally crashed and like nobody's fucking with it now. Everybody just migrated to different platforms and shit. So that being the case, man, like, you know, I mean, I could go on and on. My Facebook's not an ill platform anymore. Whatever. Fuck it. The reason why people want to delete Facebook, though, is because Mark Zuckerberg, you know, he met with some alt-right niggas. He met with some fucking, some conservatives and shit. I don't fucking care. Like, to me, that doesn't make me upset. And I actually I think it's kind of interesting that people are so pissed off about that, because I don't necessarily understand what the problem is. Like, Mans is just trying to not get Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook. He's just trying not to get his whole platform shut down by either side. And right now it's looking like the more Republicans are in power, they're gonna say that the fucking platform is biased. The more if more Democrats come in power, then they're gonna say like, yo, break this shit up, antitrust laws. You know what I'm saying? This nigga is fucked. Like, he's just in a position where he don't know which way is up. I do not think that he's trying to necessarily align with the right. I think it looks bad. Like, it looks terrible. This nigga was caught talking shit about Elizabeth Warren in a meeting. First of all, somebody snitched on him. Somebody leaked his shit. That was a leak, bro. That was a snitch. And I think he handled it incredibly well. He didn't get upset about it. He just said, like, yeah, I'm going to fight back. I want to keep my company. I think that shit was like showing a level of grace and maturity that we've never seen from him before. I'm not a Mark Zuckerberg fan. However, there is this whole thing in like psychology where if people have the same name as you, you kind of want to root for them. You kind of want them to do well. Is this just a bias that humans have? Like, if somebody has the same first name as you, you just like, or last name too, any name that like is like yours, you want to see them do better than people who don't necessarily share that name in common. And I think a lot of that is just like, you just want, like, I don't want a Mark out there fucking up the Mark name. Like, imagine, right? Like, if your name was OJ during like the 90s, you know what I'm saying? You was like, yo, like, I don't want to be fucking OJ anymore. You would switch your shit up. You would go by a nickname. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants that. Like, bro, imagine it's like 1943 and your name is Adolf. Like, you ain't do shit. But now you can't walk around being Adolf, son. That's crazy, right? So I don't want Mark Zuckerberg to fuck up for all Marks. Like, that's just I'm always like subconsciously aware that maybe I see the shit that he does differently because of this natural human bias, which is just hardwired into our brains, like wanting to eat fucking, I don't know, candy or some shit. It just, like, we can't resist this dumb shit, this dumb urge we have. So yeah, man, Zuckerberg, I don't think that he's necessarily trying to play to the right. I don't think that that's the case. He did these meetings in secret. This nigga got leaks out the ass, son. What is going on? Like, bro, Mark Zuckerberg, you gotta tighten your circle, bro, because this shit don't make no fucking sense, man. Like, everywhere you turn right now, all your shit is just falling out, B. You got to make moves smarter than that. You got to be better than that. This feels like somebody's trying to get him out the paint. It's an inside job, man. Sometimes it be your own. You know what I mean? It be the homies closest to you. It really do. So watch out. That's all I gotta say about that, because it's looking real shaky. I think it's cool. I mean, if people want to delete Facebook, I'm actually all for that. I do not think this reason is good. Mark Zuckerberg is the fucking head of one of the like biggest, richest companies in the world. Like, if you think that he never met with conservatives before, you wildin', man. Like, man's got there's been conservatives on the Facebook board before. Like, come on. So this just doesn't make sense. It doesn't equal up. If you want to be mad that he talked to Ben Shapiro or whatever, the fucking senior editor of Breitbart, I don't know who the fuck. I honestly didn't care about that part, because once I found out like about why people were mad, I don't care. Like, I don't care if he met with Alex Jones. I don't know who he met with, and I don't think that really matters. Like, he's a businessman. He's going to meet with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, business leaders meet with dictators. Like, they're not politicians. You know what I'm saying? And politicians should be able to meet with whoever they want. Like, just meeting with somebody does not mean anything. And even if you're trying to convince them that you don't have a bias against them, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily like doing anything in particular for them. So like, come on. I mean, like, I get it, yo. If you want to just hate Mark Zuckerberg, fucking hate Mark Zuckerberg. But like, delete Facebook because you hate Mark Zuckerberg because you don't want Mark Zuckerberg to get richer. I'm cool with that. Like, but I just don't like this pretense that we're liberals. So if you meet with people who are on the far right who we don't agree with, then we're gonna shut this shit down. Because then what? Like if he meets with someone extreme on the left, if he was meeting with AOC and fucking, I don't know, like who else? Charlemagne the God. Like, would that be an issue? Are people on the left or people on the right going to be like, nah, he's meeting with a bunch of left radical people of color? Like, I would hope not. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't necessarily like identify as that either. I mean, I'm definitely closer to that than fucking alt-right, you know, Ben Shapiro and shit. But like, what, like, where do we go from this, right? Because if we start playing games like that, we can't have social media channels that are automatically like biased, right? Like, if anything, the thing that they should work to do is be as unbiased as possible. We already have complete news channels and news networks. I mean, at this point, can you even create a real news outlet that is not specifically fighting for a side, right? Like, and be successful? I don't really think so. Like Breitbart did not create this you know, environment that we live in, right? Breitbart didn't create this environment. They just took advantage of the environment. And in a lot of ways, if the left can figure out the way that like they can tap into that sort of energy, it might work out well for them, right? Like it might actually make it so that they have like an equal opposite force. But that just goes to say that, like, that type of battlefield now, like the battlefield over those types of outlets, that's going to happen on social media channels, right? So if the social media channels do not meet with both extremist sides, then that's how we get more of these like Trump type elections where we're questioning the validity of these things based on things like, you know, Russian interference. And I mean, rightfully so, right? Like we should rightfully question these things and we should be worried about that. But the way that these things get fixed is not by Mark Zuckerberg, like, denying the right even more space. If he denies them more space, if Twitter shuts down, I was watching the fucking debates today. I can't believe there's something that Kamala Harris wants to do. Kamala Harris is fucking talking about shutting down Donald Trump's Twitter account. Fam, yo, have you ever seen like a Thotty's page on Instagram? It's called a backup account, nigga. That's all he has to do. If it looks like they're going to shut down his account, Trump's going to say, follow me on my backup account. You know what it's going to say? at official Donald Trump 2, deleted at 60 mil. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do with the president. This shit is embarrassing enough. And y'all niggas gonna make the US president look like a fucking thotty. That shit, he's gonna have the fucking, that's what it's gonna say. Deleted at 60 mil. NYC, plain emoji. DC, plain emoji. Russia, plain emoji. North Korea, plain emoji. It's what the fuck we gonna do. Because we're trying to prove these dumbass points. Chill out, fam. Fall all the way back, yo. Like I said, delete Facebook if you want to fucking delete Facebook. I don't have no problems with that. Delete your Twitter if you don't want to see Donald Trump's tweets. Or just don't fucking follow Donald Trump. You know you can mute Twitter pages. You can mute Instagram pages. Mute the motherfuckers. You have your own device. You do not have to pay attention to none of this shit. Also, To keep it 100% with you, nigga, you could put niggas, y'all could put phones down too. Just saying, you could turn that shit off. That's the most beautiful part of these motherfucking phones, man. Just everything with technology. My favorite part of it is when I'm done with it. I can't just turn people off. I can't just mute people when they're talking about shit I don't want to hear in person. I gotta deal with that shit. The dopest thing about these devices, I'll close my motherfucking laptop right now, nigga. You know what I mean? There's a button on the side of my phone. I click that shit, the screen goes black. I don't see nothing no more. You got it too. Should try that shit. It's the opposite side from where the volume buttons is at. Try that shit. It's mad fun. Next time I do this thing, and this is why I don't have any real problem with any real social media channel. This is what I do when I'm on social. I'll look at that shit until I see something that I don't like. And if I see anything that slightly changes my mood at all, I just turn it off. Like I look at my phone, I see some Instagram post that I don't like, I see some tweet that I don't like, and I look at it, I just close it. And it's gone. I don't think about it again. I move on with my life, and I feel way healthier from it. So feel free to do that. If Trump's Twitter is bothering you that much, mute it. And if you're scrolling and you see a tweet pop up, right? Maybe you have a homeboy who retweets, right? Or maybe you're following some news account that's making a comment on it. Just turn your phone off. Just close it. Or just go to a different app. It's so simple. But we as a population, we do not gain from Donald Trump not having a Twitter. And like I said, like just in general, the more that we shut him down, the more that the actual, and I'm not saying this is everyone who voted for him because it's definitely not, but the actual sick people who voted for him for sick reasons that have to deal with discrimination and hatred, because these people are sick, right? Like they have a problem. They're not healthy. They don't even know how to contribute positively to society. Even if they knew at some point, they have gotten so far away from that they've just completely forgot. Because a lot of these people just want to see culture and communities destroyed. Like they don't even care about their own community. They are just looking for straight up anarchy, and not the positive, like libertarian vision of anarchy. I'm talking about like the, Star Wars post-apocalyptic future of anarchy. Those people, if Donald Trump is banned from Twitter, is banned from things like Instagram or Facebook, and on top of that, he's simultaneously impeached, I seriously worry that we are going to have a respark of the militia movement that is then basically on like fucking steroids, because we also have the internet, right? Like, forget the social media channels. We have 4chan now. We have Reddit now. If you have 4chan, 8chan, Reddit, and the militia movement, which is just far enough that it's romanticized again, right? If we have that, which is already sparked, we already see that, like, when we think about a lot of things that have happened, we already see that that's kind of like brewing, Like when you have people walking up and down the street and they're chanting, like, Jews will not replace us, we know that this could very well happen, right? Like we know that even the people who are involved, we see someone like Chris Cantwell pulling out what feels like dozens of guns from crevices of his body that are extremely uncomfortable to watch happen. I mean, I worry about that, right? And so I think that there's a certain amount of keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, that maybe people on the political left should apply when they think about Donald Trump. maybe it's better to have him tweeting out these things at 5 a.m. rather than not having a place to tweet it out and reaching over to that box that he has that has a red button and pushing that. Because as thin as it may seem, I'm not how do I even say this? I basically think that the thin veneer that's keeping us from going to maybe even quite literally the nuclear option is Twitter, right? Like, if he can get his frustrations off on Twitter and he can get his attention pointed at his phone, that might be safest for all of us. And when you take someone like that and you cut off their microphone, they don't necessarily react in the most classy way possible, right? Sometimes that reaction is actually a very violent reaction. And maybe that's why maybe even having people in his circle like Kanye West, who, of course, this is a very contentious relationship, but maybe having the ability to have people like that in his circle who will kind of get out these weird messages for him in very like weird ways. And for those who just to even mention what I'm talking about is Kanye kind of got in trouble again because it was during one of his Sunday services where he just mentioned that Lincoln, as a Republican, freed the slaves. Now, that is a very common Republican talking point, especially when it comes to them not being diverse enough and not caring about people of color necessarily the way that the liberals do. Republicans just like to remind people of that history. And Kanye wanted to speak on that because Kanye, I guess he wants to defend why he's a Republican, even though he said he wasn't a Republican. So there's always, of course, a little PR mixed in there. Okay, we kind of accept that with the territory. But I do think that there is a little bit of a, taking the lid off the steaming pot a little bit when that happened, right? Trump could sit back on Twitter and kind of smile and laugh a little bit because Kanye's out there kind of saying messages that he approves of, and that makes him feel like he has some connection with the Black community. Y'all, I'm not saying that this is not absurd. It's completely absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But when you're dealing with a clown president, sometimes you got to do what's safest for everyone and let him clown away, right? Like the scariest thing is when the court jester doesn't have an audience anymore. Because then what does that court jester become? Right? That's the way I see it. Is let's not do that. Let's not let's keep him close. That's what I would say. Let's not push him away too far. The last thing that we need is for him to be trying to do more covert, hidden, secret business. If anything, it's great that he loses his mind sometimes and just tweets out all these secrets. I feel like at least we get to know a little bit more than maybe we would have if he didn't do that. So, along those lines, like if I mean, because and this is what I mean. We just take concepts and we go a little too far. Because where I started with this was talking about delete Facebook, right? And people started with deleting their own Facebooks. And then as the days went on, the tweets became about deleting Facebook as a social media platform. And that now starts to hurt a lot more people than just Mark Zuckerberg. And there's a lot of interesting things now that and I just say that there's people who make millions of dollars a year off Facebook. There's people who just make their living. Just maybe they make a living of $70,000 a year, and they're making that money off of running shops that are primarily have their audience and marketing through Facebook. And when things like this happen, there is a very genuine argument that could be made about making all social media platforms that get to that size a public utility, right? So maybe Facebook should be a public utility. Maybe Twitter should be a public utility. Of course, there's something that's very scary about our, country nationalizing businesses. I don't think that would be the first time that necessarily something like this happened. There's some interesting things to be said about that. Obviously, the internet itself was never just a private thing, right? The internet was created by the government in collaboration with different parts of the government, the military, NASA, a lot of people in Silicon Valley working on semiconductors. The whole thing is interesting, right? The internet itself and what it is today is a huge collaborative process, right? No one tried to get copyrights on the internet. No one tried to copyright Wi-Fi. It's pretty powerful. That's awesome, right? And it created the most powerful industry we have today, which is technology, especially internet technology. Because there's all types of technology, hardware, but we're talking about connected devices, right? That's by far like the biggest industry that America has. Amazing. If nationalizing and making social media platforms such as Facebook or Twitter could have that sort of impact, then of course it's better. Short of that, which is pretty miraculous, and short of having a plan of how that will happen, I don't know. I don't know how that necessarily boosts competition either. In fact, maybe it just makes China stronger, right? Looping back to what we were talking about with China. I mean, we do have this situation where if you break up Facebook, now the number one social media platform becomes TikTok. How do we like that? How do we like the idea of a Chinese social media platform which is not dedicated to news or the sharing of what I think most people over 25 would call quality information, right? For all the crap that's on Twitter, all the crap that's on Facebook, at the end of the day, what Facebook's in trouble for is fake news, right? Like what they're in trouble for is is the fact that people could get out messages and articles that had information in it that wasn't true and that was purposefully deceiving, right? Twitter, they get in trouble for a lot of leaks and a lot of information that gets spread out, or just even people, especially with the Tekashi 6ix9ine case, you had Twitter pages that were being shut down because they were giving you line by line of what was happening in the courtroom. So we're talking about real information at the end of the day. Like what do people get in trouble for is some people are like, yo, these are not platforms. These are media companies. Facebook's a media company. Twitter's a media company. They're a news organization. That's one of the beefs. It's because people think that they're masquerading as social networks, but they're actually media organizations that just work based off user-generated content that their algorithms push to the top. And so what are we going to do? And is it a better problem to instead have something like TikTok, which is based in China, which is a company that we know works with the Chinese government, has Chinese officials literally having desks and corner offices in their campuses? Do we want that? Do we want, people to be consuming 10 to 15 seconds of video content, which takes up their entire screen and doesn't even necessarily leave room for anything else but notifications. So now we're not even talking about headlines. We're talking about the first few characters of headlines, which may just pop up on someone's screen that they may or may not be paying attention to, and so it just subconsciously pops in and out. Because that's what we're talking about instead. So, you know, I'm and I'm not here to say that I have the answer to that either. I just think that before we just totally delete Facebook, before we totally shut Mark Zuckerberg down, and before we totally say, you know, hey, Jack Dorsey, give us Twitter, and you just keep Square and focus on Square anyway, because that's what, let's not get this confused, that's what all of the shareholders in Square, that's what they've been asking for. They've been asking Jack Dorsey to stop paying attention to Twitter, which is, you know, essentially a money pit that he's just throwing money into. The shareholders would love, and I'm talking about the shareholders of Square, right? Not of Twitter. The shareholders would love for Jack Dorsey to just say, look, here, Twitter is a public utility. It's out there. And now I'm just going to focus on Square. The way that the stocks would rise would be incredible. Like, so that's the thing, is like, sometimes when I see things like that, I wonder how much those ideas are trickling down from these really powerful people who are on the board of Square, from these really powerful media moguls, from these really big money players who like really actually are like low key controlling politics, right? Maybe high key. Is that them having their way? Is then making Twitter a public utility that saves Jack Dorsey from spending more money and then allows him to shift all of his time and attention to Square? Maybe that's not what works out best for the public at all. Maybe that actually ends up hurting us, because do we trust the current administration? Okay, imagine if Twitter was a public utility and Trump is president. You know what I'm saying? Like that. These are the kind of situations we have to think about. Like, imagine if we break up Facebook, right? And then now something like TikTok, which we already know that they don't give a fuck about intellectual property. What do we do then when now Instagram is once again its own company, right? And instead of having this situation where Instagram steals stories from Snapchat and kind of knocks Snapchat down for a while, Snap's coming back up though. The stock's doing great. So we have real competition, right? Where we have real innovation and even companies kind of stealing ideas from each other and making their products better. Instead of that, now we have TikTok as the number one social media platform. Now there's no way that anyone can compete with WeChat, right? Who can compete with WeChat if Facebook is broken up? Microsoft, who was late to the party when it came to mobile, and Microsoft's doing their thing. They caught up, like they're doing amazing. Seeing watching this Microsoft stock is awesome. They're back. They're talking about making phones with Android. You know, now we have cross collaboration between Google and Microsoft. This is beautiful. We're just now stepping into like what we actually have been waiting for. And now we want to start breaking shit up. I get it. Like, I get it. I just think that it's a lot more complicated than these people are evil. They're the new banks. They're the new problem. Because it's like, oh man, you cut, like, here we go. You know, more money, more problems. That's the biggie shit. Like, what that's about is the more complicated the solution that you create, then the more complicated problem arises after that. And if you don't have a plan for that, then that's the same thing. More money, more problems. You know what I mean? You have more money, then you have more people you need to help. If you have, you know what I mean? Like you got bigger paper, the bigger bag, the bigger the issue is going to be. And we just have to have like clear sight of that. Is like, you know, what's it going to look like when we're going through government shutdowns and the Twitter server is down? What's that going to look like? Like, let's really get into, we have to have public conversations about these things. Like, these things have to be a public discourse. We have to go back to having public discourse about things that impact all of us. Like, all of us. Because this impacts all of us. This impacts how everything is approached, right? When YouTube just decided to demonetize videos because of criticism that they got from the alt-right, you know that is what really forced, like, rap communities, whole hip-hop communities, such as, like, battle rappers, right? All the battle rap leagues, they had to start going to pay-per-view websites. And they had to start creating their own apps. Think about the amount of money that someone like URL has spent. That's the Ultimate Rap League. They've created their own app, which this is I'm just gonna just let y'all know this. The URL TV, they hired developers that worked on Uber Eats to create their hip hop battle rap application. The amount of capital that they had to spend to make that happen just to give people battles for, I think it's $7 or $8 a month. Still cheaper than Netflix. Okay? This is what people have to do now because they cannot make money off of YouTube because of the alt-right. Because battle rap has content which, yeah, can be homophobic in a way sometimes. Sure. It can be clearly homophobic. But there's also gay battle rap leagues that now cannot make money because algorithmically they're linked to other battle leagues where some rappers say things that are homophobic. Mind you, these people compete against each other and they understand their coded language and what they're doing, right? I would say this community, this is to tangent a little bit, but I would say the battle rap community is so interesting. Because if we want to talk about free speech, but we also want to talk about acceptance and we want to talk about diversity and inclusivity, there's probably no place that exemplifies this like the current battle rap community, especially when we think about it as a global battle rap community that's connected through the internet, which it very much is. And instead of everyone being on the same platform, somewhere like YouTube now, they're all dispersed. And so you now have people who are like, damn, if I want to keep up with battles across different leagues, I'm spending $50 a month just to watch battle rap now. And let's be real, a lot of fans of battle rap don't have $50 a month to spend, right? They're people in lower economic classes. They don't have money to waste on this shit. But that's what happens when we cut our nose off in spite of our face. That's something my mom taught me as a child. You don't do that. You think about things and you think about who they're going to impact. And you know what? Hey, look, sometimes, you know, like when you have $1 billion, yo, you gotta you gotta take some heat. And shouts out to John. John in the Discord. John just said that Meetup is charging $2. $2 per meetup. What is this? Why would you spend $2 to meet up when you could join a Discord and you could actually connect with people who have similar interests as you? And then you can actually just create your own times to meet up. Why would you do that? And I love what John just said. A new internet will rise up. Like, of course it will. There will always be an alternative. And I'll tell y'all what. And this is what I'll sign off with because I went way over tonight than I thought I was going to do. I didn't even know if I was going to tonight. But really just getting into this idea of delete, ban, make this a public right, make this a public utility. Like, we do not have to be so extreme. Like, all this extremism is just a reaction It's so wild. This is a reaction to a president we don't like. We can't let this guy fuck with us like this. Like, come on, yo. Life is gonna. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. He's an asshole. It sucks. I hate what's fucking going on at the border. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm not defending nothing. But, yo, look, shit wasn't like that great for anybody either when Obama was president. Symbolically, it was fire. Like I've told y'all this before. That Obama becoming president when he did it, it changed. It changed my life. It did, right? Just off the fact that like it wasn't like I could never just think no more. Oh, I'm black. Like I never could be president. Like it just changed that. Cool. All right. But once that sinks in, then there's tomorrow, and then there's actually what's immediately in front of me, and that shit did not change whether Obama or Trump or whoever was president. It did. And unless you are in an extreme minority, not even minority, if you're just extreme on either end, right? If you are the extreme poor or you're the extreme rich, that's when it matters who's president, to keep it G, right? Those are the people who are impacted. All of us in the middle, and I mean the wide middle, like I'm talking about the 98. You're not in the 1% of poverty. You're not in the 1% of rich. We're the 98%, right? The 98% of us, it's like he really can't make that much of a difference. And I say this not to minimize anything that he's done, but just to draw attention to the amount of power that we all have in getting through our day and really being able to stay focused on the things that are important to us and whatever that means to you. And I hope what that means to you isn't just getting Trump out of office, because it has to be more complex than that. So thank you. I mean, thank you for listening tonight. I just feel like I love the idea of what John said. Like I love the idea and of really saying like a new internet will rise up, because what this makes me think about is the fact that being a part of this Discord, it's like really specifically the Feltzine Discord. This has been probably one of the most therapeutic and maybe like one of the purest things that I've ever done for me. Because I get to actually talk to a community every day of people who I wake up in the morning, laugh. Y'all are just amazing. But the nice thing about it and the interesting thing about it is I think that people who are, alternative or free thinkers or quote unquote different, we're always going to find each other. And I think using a platform like Discord, which as it stands right now is alternative, it feels so right. It just feels so good. Like it feels like this is where we should be. This feels like where I should be talking. I feel safe in here. That's why I record these episodes live in here. And then I drop them on like Apple and Spotify and all that. Because this is where I feel safe. This is where I feel like I can be myself. When I'm talking to you on the Discord, that's the real me. Like, that's not my like Instagram. That's like, if people who know me, that's why all my friends are in the Discord. Like, all my friends, like everybody close to me is in the Discord right now, or has signed up, is like plugged in. My family's in there. My friends from online, people who I never met, but I feel like they're like my friends now. It feels so real. Like I feel like this is what I always loved about the internet. This is why I was a part of ripping groups. This is why I was on forums so heavily, because this is the internet that I love. And so building this to me feels just so great. And this feels like the new internet. Like this isn't about who on here could get the most likes. This isn't about who has the most followers. Like, no one cares about that. No one even cares about how long you've been in the Discord channel. New people join. The new people that join are the most lit. Y'all niggas got the most shit to say. But I love it. And it feels right. Like, I think for all the art that I make, for all the events that we put together, my real purpose is creating this sense of community and creating a place where we can all get together and just discuss our ideas freely and free of judgment and make fun of each other. Just we should be able to joke around together and have fun and be like, yo, what the fuck is Mark talking about? Like, this guy's wild. Get out of here, fam. What are you wearing? Like, you tripping. Like, what are those? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fun. That's family. That's community. And I feel good about that, right? There's everybody's in here. Everybody. Like, everybody from all different walks of life. I don't even want to get into the differences because the differences don't matter. Because the similarity is we all care about culture. We all care about free thinking. And we all actually want to share dope ideas with each other. This is the new internet. So we don't really have to worry about deleting Facebook. Like I said, delete your own Facebook if you want. That's great. And do it because you hate Mark Zuckerberg. But don't do it because he hung out with Tucker Carlson. You know, that's not worth it. Don't turn Twitter into a public utility just because you don't want someone to be making money off of it. Guess what? It ain't making money. It ain't profitable. It's like, just get down to why you really want to do it if you really, you know? And I'll tell you what, if you really have a problem with those platforms, join a Discord. Just do something different. Go back, go to a message board. Like, just find something that if you're an alternative person and these mainstream ways of communication are not working for you, it's okay. And empower yourself. So I just said this in the Discord, so I'm preaching to the fucking choir. Shouts out to 80K Sinewave in the Discord. One thing that he said that I totally agree with 100 is that Instagram and things like that are passive. This, speaking about the Discord, allows the growth of community, and it's true. It's real, you know. Just last night, we had a breakthrough. This is something that's going to sound so silly, but we had a breakthrough. My man, nice JJ Fish, he said, "Late night crew, who's here?" And that just excited me. Like, the fact that our community is growing enough where we got like a late night shift now, we got a late night crew. It's beautiful. So thank you, for all the listeners who tune in live tonight and every night. Thank you just for being here with me. Thank you for listening. Y'all, tonight is super exciting. We are finally on Apple Podcasts. This is going to be the first episode that I've recorded. And when I'm calling the post full pod era, I'm never going to say that again, but that just sounded lit. Anyway, y'all, thank you for listening. Tonight has been probably the longest episode I ever fucking did. But I mean, how else we gonna show up on Apple Podcasts? We gotta come through dripping. We gotta give them a 90 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's like when Kobe scored 80 on the Raptors. I'm going out my last game scoring 60, baby. Anyway, I love y'all. Thank you for listening. This is the Mark Digital Live podcast. You can find me at Mark Digital HD. That's MarkDigitalHD. That's Instagram. That's Twitter. I'm sure if you type that into Facebook, you're going to find me too. If you didn't delete Facebook. And then you know who this show's produced by. Feltzine. That's Feltzine. If you're listening to this show, you probably know about Feltzine. So if you know about Feltzine and you're not on the Discord, get on the Discord. I promise you, it's like, if you like our Instagram and you like our Twitter and you love what we post and you feel like, if you love our events, if you really fuck with us, just join the Discord. It's like hanging out with Feltzine fans and creatives all day. What's better than that? Nothing. I can't imagine anything better. And I'm in there. If you like this podcast, imagine chilling with me all day talking about all this crazy shit. This is what we talk about. This is actually how I get topics for the podcast. People post in the topics Discord, and I'm like, oh, that's lit. Oh, that's wild. Oh, I got to talk about this. Sometimes I post it in general, music, everything. Like, we have everything. It's so dope. We're working on a collaborative album together. We're working on a compilation in the Discord. If you want your music, if you want your beats on here, if you want to drop your raps on here, if you got singing, if you're making punk music or something, I don't care. You could be a part of the compilation. We're collaborating. There's new art being created in the fucking Discord. I'm telling you, it's really like the illest place to be on the internet right now. So thank you. Thank you for everybody who's already in there. Thank you to everybody who's listening to this and installing Discord on their phone and their computer right now so that they can join us and have a good time. Peace, y'all. This has been fun. So I love y'all. Have a good night. This has been the Mark Digital Live Podcast. Peace.